A terrible outbreak of a toxic algae known as red tide is killing thousands of sea creatures in southwest Florida.
They're dying by the tens of thousands. Fish, eels, turtles, sometimes as far as the eye can see in parts of southwest Florida.
Nutrient pollution is a widespread national problem. Excess nutrients can also cause an explosion of algae growth called algal blooms. These can be foamy, scummy, or a thick mat of slime on the surface of the water or along the beach.
In North America, pollution of nutrients from farms to nearby water sources always pose a challenge to the sustainability in the environment. To be more specific, the nutrients such as the magnesium, phosphate, and ammonium are washed away from the soils by heavy rainfalls or unusual amount of water irrigation provided in the farmlands, which causes algae bloom or a like negative impact. Therefore, the irrigation water filtration and recovery system was implemented to prevent the redundant nutrients to leak into water sources such as Barton County Lake to the most extent. This serves farmers and local community a healthier and sustainable environment, which prevents intoxication from algae bloom to influence the water source in North America.
Irrigation water filtration and recovery system is composed of both the physical filtration and chemical precipitation, which can filter out pollutants including the magnesium, phosphate, and ammonium. First of all, water is flowing into the drains and connected to a water storage tank through the water pipes. And then water flows to the second tank through a one-way valve for chemical reaction.
The MAP crystallization occurs spontaneously when the pH is between 8.5 to 9.3 with excess pollutants. Therefore, sodium hydroxide is needed to alkalize the wastewater, and a pH sensor is installed to monitor the pH. Once the condition is reached, the crystal starts to form as soon as 1 minute and reach equilibrium at around 180 minutes. After the precipitation, the pH sensor will check the pH and add in hydrochloride until the pH becomes 7.
After the chemical filtration, at most 95% of the phosphate is removed.
After the chemical precipitation, the biker filter do further filtration physically. The wastewater flows through a few layers of sand and rock to filter out some big waste, and the rest of the wastewater flows to the biker filter, which works through the process of absorption. Phosphate molecules are clumped to the biker. After the second filtration, 99.95% of phosphate is filtered and the water is released to the lake or river nearby.
To prove the efficiency of our active carbon filter, we bought phosphate buffer solution online and compare concentration before and after the filtration. Fill the both test tube with 15 ml 0.1 mol of phosphate buffer solution, but the second test tube contained 12 ml of active carbon. Then we use a filter paper to separate the most of carbon powder in the solution. The image on the right shows that our filter is effective against phosphate.
Our project provides a possible solution for solving such water problem. However, there are still some difficulties for us to consider, and if there are some additional support, it will be helpful for us to developing our project. One of the barriers is the slightly alkaline solution, because we need to add sodium hydroxide into the original wastewater, so after process, the solution will have a high pH value. In order to solve this, we can add hydrogen chloride into the processed water. However, we still need some comprehensive evaluation to see such emission, whether it will cause pernicious environment problems.
Phosphorus is an important material for mechanical industry. If we don't treat the phosphorus in the wastewater properly, it can pose more severe environmental problems. To solve this precipitation problem, the magnesium ammonium phosphate crystallization process is established and considered an ideal technique to solve this phosphorus problem. In this process, it's best to heat up OH negative and NH4 positive by 1 to 110 degrees for 3 hours. Also need time to manpower to remove the crystallization sediment.